Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another paid request, this time from Derek. Thank you so much. And for those interested, requesting pretty much any type of videos or commentaries, topics, writings, reviews, re-reviews, news, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the Jackie Chan film Who Am I, which he co-directed with another guy named Benny. And it's a film that really no one talks about nowadays when they mention Jackie Chan. And I will say, watch it again. I still enjoy the film. I still like the film. I don't know, watch it again if it would be in my top 10 Jackie movies, because there's a lot of Jackie Chan films I enjoy. Rumble in the Bronx, Operation Condor, Super Cop, Jackie Chan's First Strike, Police Story. I like Police Story 2, Legend of Drunken Master. I like Rush Hour. I like Rush Hour 2. Mr. Nice Guy, I think, is a bit underrated. So there's quite a bit I enjoy. So again, I don't know if it would be in my top 10 the more I think about it, but because this has some good action. It doesn't have as much action as I remember it having. Like, it doesn't have, like a lot of Jackie Chan films, they would have some type of explosive ending. It doesn't really have that. It has a pretty good 2-on-1 fight, which I think is the best part of the movie. Fairly stellar choreography where Jackie's fighting these two guys. One is more of a kicker, one is not, but one's fighting Jackie, then the other's fighting Jackie, then it's 2-on-1. You get some really good fast choreography. And yeah, Jackie's up there in age at this time, but he's still pulling off the moves fairly well. And like I said, it's definitely one of the, yeah, I would say the best scene in the movie. And he has a pretty good stunt where he's on a building and there's a glass pane and he's sliding down. And you can tell how high he is. And there's times where he's walking up and then he's sliding face first. Pretty damn scary stunt. But then the bad guy gets caught, and that's pretty much the end. Like I said, it's not as much of an explosive ending as, you know, compared to other movies. Whether it be Rumble in the Bronx or Mr. Nice Guy or Operation Condor with the fan. Superman! that might be my favorite. Well, it might be Rumble in the Bronx. Rumble in the Bronx or Operation Condor, usually those are two of my favorites. But those are the two of the first ones I saw of his, so maybe that's part of the reason. But I do like the film because I do like the idea, the story, at least part of the story where he has amnesia. Now I gotta say this is the American version of Who Am I? If the Asian version, like the Hong Kong version, is different, I've never seen that. I don't have that. I just have the American version. So if that's different, I apologize, because that's not the version I have. That's not the version I've seen. It is what it is. I don't even think this film's on Blu-ray in the US. It might be on Blu-ray overseas, but I don't think it's on Blu-ray in the US. Because like I said, this is a Jackie film that no one talks about. And watching it again, I forgot that part of the plot was about this meteorite and some compound was found with it, this highly volatile, and could maybe, as a bad guy said, can you imagine a gun that shoot ammo that was equivalent of a ballistics missile? Something like that. And you had like this piece of a meteorite in like a jar just going crazy, an explosion. I forgot that was part of this movie. Because when I say it, that interests me is a story about him losing his memory. Kind of what they do with your Born Identity. Kind of like Born Identity, but Jackie Chan style. Where he's part of this military team to rescue scientists. And the team gets betrayed. While the chopper's going down, Jackie Chan falls out of the helicopter. He has no memory. He's in Africa. This tribe helps him out. and he still doesn't know who he is, but he's figuring things out. And that was interesting because it gives Jackie a little bit more to play with, other than, okay, he's a nice guy, or he's a good guy. He's just trying to do X, Y, and Z reasons to help out. But it gives a little bit more to his character, and Jackie's able to do a little bit more acting, be confused, discombobulated, like more of a goal for him to chase. And that was nice to see, because I think Jackie can do that fairly well. Like The Foreigner, the reason I did not like The Foreigner was not because of Jackie, is because they didn't use him much. It felt like more Pierce Brosnan's movie than Jackie. Like, Pierce Brosnan had as much screen time as Jackie. Like, Jackie at times would disappear, but like, where the hell's Jackie Chan? He just didn't feel as big of a part of a movie as he should have been. That's one of my big gripes with The Foreigner, and that just came off as boring. It's not because he did something different, it's because of the way he was implemented. That's just my take on it. And then any little bit that he did, you saw in the trailer. But I like that the character, even though he doesn't remember who he is, he still remembers some of his moves. He does this MacGyver stuff from time to time. Like, he meets these people in the desert, and one person's hurt. He's been bitten by a poisonous snake. The stuff he eats up to help with the wound, but it makes it so he can't talk. So the girl can't understand him, but he's trying to... And he makes like a old school IV, like the way he makes this equipment to get up a tree, and then makes this IV from fruit so that the guy can be having liquids in him so he doesn't die out. It was cool to see some of that MacGyver stuff, and there's even a point later on where he gets a barrel and this hose, and he makes his own rappel thing. And it's an interesting way of rappelling where he kind of unwinds sideways to rappel down the building. When he's doing stuff like that, that's fun to see Jackie at his best. Not just fighting-wise, but what he could do with creativity, imagination, and like I said, that's fun to see. That's fun to witness. Now, after he makes it a little bit out of Africa, he still doesn't know who he is, but he's gotten to the papers. That seemed like kind of a jarring jump, where he gets the two out of there, and then immediately it's like, maybe that was stuff that was cut out and was in the Hong Kong version, I don't know, but it just seemed like, how did he get from dressing up as a native, he's finally able to talk again though, and then all of a sudden he's in newspapers and got different clothes and he's in a different part of life. That seemed like kind of a jarring jump in time. Of course, the bad guys, recognize him, and oh, he needs to be taken out, even though he doesn't remember stuff. And there's some decent scenes in between. Like, some people say it's such a slog to sit through the first half. I don't think it's a slog. Like I said, there's some cool stuff where he's able to... One review I read said he... Tiger? I don't remember that in this... Like a tiger, a lion, whatever. I don't remember that in this movie. Maybe it's in the Hong Kong version that I didn't see, but I don't remember no tiger. No, I don't remember anything with that. So maybe that was cut out. I don't know. But the bad guys had kidnapped these scientists to look at this meteorite, and you get some pretty bad effects because they're doing a test, and you see like this really fake-looking electricity going through the power lines, and then the crappy CGI meteorite in like a jar, and then scientists escape these explosions. They look really fake. They look really phony, and that's why part of me is like, why do we need all this stuff about this fucking meteorite and volatile? It's almost like sci-fi shit. Why do we need this as part of the plot? it could literally just be the scientists are made a nuclear weapon, or just anything of the sort, or any kind of a drug, a virus. Could be a virus. Could just be some virus. I mean, that's not the important part, really. It's not like that meteorite gets used to put into a weapon that then Jackie Chan uses, or someone uses the weapon against Jackie Chan. That really never comes into play. It's just the, what you call the gimmick, the, God, this is a certain phrase, I forgot what it was. Hitchcock would use it, damn it. MacGuffin. It's just the MacGuffin of the story. Very weird MacGuffin, but okay. But Jackie not remembering who he is, that's more of the interesting part of the story to me. And like, you did decent action bits. You did a decent car chase where they're going downstairs or going up a ramp, and a real car is on the side, tips over. Some of the characters he meets his reporter, but is she a reporter, or is she not who she seems it is? And all these little things that Jackie will do, like how he flips up a camera as she's being a little bit weird, and he'll do these certain little things that Jackie does a lot of his movies to make the scene a little bit more unique, so it doesn't seem like the same old, same old. There's a bit where the bad guys keep taking his shoes and stomp on his feet. He get more hurt and more pained and more angry. And then, I don't know if you call them wooden shoes. He's able to put some on and kick the shit out of people with them. That's it. He's avoiding falling pianos. Granted, there's a point where like a poodle falls. You tell, obviously, of course, that could be a real dog. But it's like a stuffed dog falling. Of course, Jackie catches it. But he's avoiding these fallen pianos. You still did some decent stunt work. You did a pretty solid fight in the third act. 2-on-1 fight. There's still some really nice stunt work, like the glass pane side of the building. It's one of those things that, again, the villains, the plot with the MacGuffin is not really the best out of the Jackie Chan films. I say the ending is not as explosive as like Police Story, or even Rumble in the Bronx, or Operation Condor. So someone said this is kind of like if Jackie Chan did a direct-to-video film. Maybe, but if that's the case, then that's still pretty good for a direct-to-video film. I just one of those movies that it's not up there with the classics. But I still find it a pretty decent Jackie Chan entertainment. Like I said, the plot, at least the MacGuffin part of the plot, you may be like, what? And then again, there's some really wanty effects in it. The villains, I recognize the one guy who was with the CIA. I believe he was in, I want to say American Ninja 4. And he's been in a couple other movies I recognize. He was in The Mangler, that's right. He was in The Mangler. He was a cop when Ted Levine was beating the shit out of the possessed fridge. And you had the one cop being scared. That's actually the guy who's like the evil CIA guy in this. That's where I recognize him from. But, the music, that's one flaw I have with the movie as well. The musical score is pretty cheap. Like, you kind of wish it had a score like a lot of action films, whether it be Terminator, Rambo, Broken Arrow, or Hard Target. They have fairly good musical scores. This, not really. It just felt cheap. It felt like a cheap score. And again, maybe that was the American editing, re-editing that added that score in. I don't know. This is the thing with a lot of Jackie Chan films, is that they'll take a Jackie Chan film and then they'll bring it to US and they'll re-edit stuff. They'll cut out stuff. The one positive is that you'll hear Jackie's voice. And that's what I like. That's what I prefer. That's like the one big positive. But then a lot of times they'll edit certain bits out. And again, that gets a bit irritating, a bit annoying. Like Operation Condor, there's an alternate cut that's longer, which is cool. But the thing that sucks is that it's not Jackie Chan's voice. Like the American version is Jackie Chan's voice. That's what I prefer. So I don't know, that's just that weird thing with Jackie Chan movies. But I wish you could see the extended cut, but still be Jackie Chan's voice. You know, best of both worlds. But anyway, who am I? Like I said, I like the amnesia plot idea. It made it a little bit different compared to other Jackie Chan films. The bits with the he has to wear and use to fight against bad guys, or the 2-on-1 fight in the finale, I thought it had some, like I said, fairly stellar choreography. Yeah, couple pretty decent stunt work. I was never bored with it. I was entertained. Again, the American version is like, what, 90 minutes or so, give or take. Maybe a little bit longer than that. But I didn't feel bored. Like I said, just the whole MacGuffin meteorite compound thing, I don't think needed to be part of the movie. A little bit more could have been done with the ending as well. A little bit more like impactful. Again, if someone creates this weapon with this, it sounds like it would be the railgun from Eraser. Imagine them trying to use that against Jackie, and Jackie you avoiding it, and he's avoiding all these explosions and from these volatile weapons. Could be fair, but again, they don't really do that. But yeah, I still think it's a pretty decent Jackie Chan film. Still think it's an entertaining movie. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.